There we go. Play.
T-minus 1 minute and counting.
Hello.
Four, three, two, one.
Hello everybody.
Hello.
How are you all doing? I forgot to change that screen. Never mind. We're here now. Welcome to Thursday night's Flyer live stream. So, a little clue in the bottom left-hand side of your screen. I think it's left. It might be right. Not sure if it's reversed or not. You'll see Simon Keeling. He's coming up tonight shortly. You're going to be doing our weather. Then we're going to cover off some news, of which there's a whole bunch of stuff, including CA extensions and airspace and all bits and pieces like that. Then what are we going to do then? Then we're going to have a more detailed chat about the airspace. Then we are going to start filling our fantasy hangar. We built our fantasy hangar a couple of weeks ago, and tonight the first candidate will be the ideal bimbling machine. So we've all chosen the bimbling machine, and we're all going to try and explain why we're right and everybody else is wrong. Then we've got some events and some event news, a few other bits and pieces, and then we'll see where we are. If we finish early, we might go, bye. If we finish late, we go, sorry, but who knows? Anyway, so that's where we are. So before anything further, I think we should hand over to Simon Keeling, who's going to do his best to have a guess at the weather for the weekend. Is that right?
Yeah.
Simon?
Yeah, I'll try my best. I'll try my best with this
Go for
one.
it.
It's basically a north-south split across the country this weekend. So there are actually three main areas of weather. One across southern England, another for northeast England and eastern Scotland, another western Scotland, northwest England and Northern Ireland. So we can deal with the easy one first of all, which is going to be eastern Scotland and northeast England. Here, low cloud, mist, some fog drifting in from the sea at times. I think base is probably no more than sort of 500 feet, reduced visibility, not great for flying. Best of the flying areas, Western Scotland, Northwest England and Northern Ireland on both Saturday and Sunday. Bases there look pretty good, around 3,000 feet. Tops are up at about 10 to 12,000 feet on both Saturday and Sunday. Good visibility, reasonable flying conditions. It's just the temperatures up at about 25, 26 degrees potentially that just need to be taken into account when you're thinking of your weight and balances. But for the rest of England, so this is central southern England and also Wales, this is where the complication is. Now for Saturday, I think fairly murky across these areas to start Saturday morning. Sunny spells start to develop. Visibility gradually improves, although always little bits and pieces of thundery rain hanging around. Saturday afternoon may see some more widespread thunderstorms across southeast England. But for Saturday, watch Forms 215 very, very carefully and the TAFs, because they'll put more detail into exactly where these storms are going to be. At the moment, we can just give that broad brush area. Sunday for that area, though, the storms look as if they become more widespread. So some pretty torrential storms developing on Sunday afternoon. That will reduce visibility again. And even out of the storms, I think the VIS are only looking about 8 to 12 kilometres anyway. So I think Sunday at the moment looks to be the more thundery of the day. Thunder of the days for England and Wales, and as I say, some of those could be torrential. So I've got a little bit of concern about flying on Sunday, especially when I tell you that the QNIM tops on Sunday could get up to around 35 to 40,000 feet. If you fancy flying around those, you're a braver man than me.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for that, Simon.
That's all right. Is it a thank you, really?
That's fine. You can surely just fly over the top of that.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
I think I shall start searching out a nice bottle of wine to crack open maybe Sunday afternoon.
Kind of half 10 in the morning.
Right, okay, maybe I won't start that late. Thank you very much,
I
Simon.
mean, that's a pleasure. I should say Saturday looks to be the better of the days. So, if you want to do anything, I think Saturday is going to be your day.
Thanks very much, and everyone.
Okay.
Don't forget the weather school thing in the background. If you haven't been, make sure you go. See you next week, hopefully.
Absolutely.
Before he goes, quickly, James the pilot says, Simon, what's your opinion of the weather tomorrow? Very quickly.
Okay, for tomorrow, it depends where you are, James. But what we're going to say is across southern England, a little bit of thundery rain around, not as much as there will be Saturday. Southern England, probably reduced visibility. As you go further north, things get better. So northwest England, Western Scotland, Northern Ireland again are looking pretty favourable. Eastern parts of England, eastern parts of Scotland, northeastern England, again, low cloud, mist and fog. But I was just looking at the chart. Tomorrow afternoon, one or two thunderstorms around across southeast England. It's not the best of conditions tomorrow afternoon, I have to say.
Fantastic. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.
Pleasure. See you next week, folks. Have a
Bye,
good
Simon.
Bye. Bye.
Hello. Well, there you go. So we were going to go flying tomorrow. We were going to go on a secret trip somewhere, but we've canned that. And I think that was the right decision, wasn't it?
Yeah. Big line of thunderstorms. No,
Big
thank
line
you.
of thunderstorms. Not much fun at all. So on to the news. Dave, what have we got in the news?
Well, and the first item we have up is this bit about more CA extensions and this impenetrable document, OSR4, ORS4, and which sort of describes what you can do. Now, actually, you know more about this than I do, Ian.
I read it, and I sent an email to the CA and said, is there anyone who can translate this into plain English for someone of a simple mind like myself? And I got an auto response saying, I'm afraid the CA is on holiday until 24th of August. If your inquiry is urgent, please send it to someone else. So my normal translation source was unavailable. So that didn't work. And then Irv Lee actually created, he's got this kind of like 2-page document, which kind of explains everything in about 6-point type on 6-point type with no column. But it's kind of a real kind of like, it's a great document, but it makes you work hard to read it. And effectively, it seems to me that if you got an EASA license and you want your SCP or your TMG rating renewed and you haven't done the 12 hours and you've done fewer than the 12 hours, then depending on how many fewer of those hours you've actually done, as long as you've still done one with an instructor and you've done a number of landings, and the number of landings increases with the decrease in hours until you get down to something like 8 hours instead of 12 hours, at which point you need a proficiency test no matter how many landings you've done. I think it's something like that, and it all works out okay. But it's kind of
I could have built an aeroplane in that time.
Yeah, actually, you couldn't. Let's be honest. No, it's. Well, I suppose the what is it they say about the road to hell is paved with good intentions or something like that. I suppose someone's trying to help out and make sure that we can get what we need. But then, really, come on, CA, you know you need to do this. Just put a piece of paper in there that says that's the legal bollocks. This is what it really means. Yes. That's all you need to do.
Actually, what they should do, since they've just launched a YouTube channel, a GA unit YouTube channel, they should have had someone on there just doing exactly that, explaining what things are.
They should get Mike Patey to run their YouTube channel.
No.
In fact, let me explain this. Back to work, guys.
But no, they do have it. This is the news that the CAA General Aviation Unit has launched its own YouTube channel. We only discovered this by accident, but so it's been a good job of PR. But anyway, it's there if you look for CAA. So moving on in the news, we've just learnt today about a new class of airspace. It's called Class E+. This is goodbye Class G, hello Class E+. So basically, it's where you're flying in Class E. I don't remember coming across Class E much before. Anyway, flying in Class E, and you have to use a transponder. So, but you don't have to have a clearance. It seems a bit weird that. Anyway, so we will talk a bit more about that in our next item, in the item after this one, which is about the Brize Norton and Oxford airspace, where it's particularly applicable. Moving on in the news very quickly, there's a new film out called Learning to Fly. This has been put together by a chap called Tristan Lorraine with the flying club at Shoreham Airport and a girl called Beth Moran. It follows Beth as she learns to fly. First of all, realizes she could learn to fly, and it goes through the lessons with the flying school, and it's quite a nice thing. It's 6 parts. It is a paid-for series, but we have a discount on that. If you become a member of the Flyer Club, you can have 20% off the basic price.
Okay, fun watching.
Yes.
Sounds like a bargain.
So, yep. What else is in the news? Free money. That was it. Free money. If you're a young pilot trying to complete your PPL and you've got some expensive flying coming up, such as you're doing your cross-country or skills test, there's £1,500 available from the LAA in the form of a bursary. It's for under 30 pilots only, and the idea is just to help people finish off at an expensive time of doing the PPL.
They're really good bursaries, and I think there's 5 available. 5 available,
yeah, that's right.
Bloody hell.
And you just go to the LA website, look for the thing called Armstrong Isaacs bursary, and you can download a form. And you should apply if you fit the category, because
it's free money.
It's free money. Yes.
Yeah. I thought you just found Steve Slater and went, Steve, my name's Ian Seeger. I'm under 30. I claim my £1,500.
I don't think he'll believe you.
He won't believe you.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. So next, we're going to take a look at this Bryce, Norton, and Oxford Airspace proposal.
Absolutely.
Over to you, Ian.
So let me just put this on the screen here. So this is the latest proposal as part of the consultation process that RAF Bryce Norton are going through from their new airspace. And as you can see, there's a whole bunch more airspace which has ended up being Class E plus, and there's the Class D itself is not hugely different other than vertically. The airspace has grown quite a lot vertically. Now, I was kind of looking at this and I thought, I'm sure I've seen this somewhere before. I'm sure. How the hell did they end up with that? And I was kind of looking back through, and then I found this fuzzy felt. I reckon that's how the airspace designers at Bryce do their thing. They get this fuzzy felt out and they just muck it around because that's what it is, isn't it? It's absolutely bloody ridiculous. I mean, there was this competition, I bet, between Farnborough and Bryce about who could produce the most ridiculous piece of airspace. And Farnborough, I bet you Farnborough got on the phone and go, you never believe it. We got this through the CAA. They actually approved it. No, really, they didn't. And the guys who were doing Bryce went, no, really? Well, we can do better than that. And they can't. They're going to try and get that through the CAA. Now, it's not approved yet, and who knows whether it will be approved. But, Frank, so on the flip side of it, trying to be slightly more serious about it, you could say, and I think it's kind of important, it is on a serious note here. Every time you have an airspace discussion with people, quite often people go, well, hang on a minute, the controllers at Bryce are amazing, or the controllers at Farnborough are amazing, or the controllers at Timbuktu are amazing. And airspace design has got nothing to do with the amazingness or otherwise of the controllers. That's kind of, air traffic controllers are amazing. We all know they are brilliant people. But that doesn't mean to say that you have to load them with a whole bunch of shitty airspace just to make them manage it, does it? You have to divorce the airspace, the design, and the utility of it from the brilliance of the controllers. It's not like, hey, we can get this through because we got brilliant controllers. No, it's rubbish. You can't. And this, frankly, you just can't cover the country in airspace this complex. It's mad. Why are you doing that? On the other hand, the flip side of that is that, sorry about this, the flip side of that is, yeah, okay, the original proposal was a whole load, it was even worse. And a TMZ, an Class E plus, which is a Class E with a TMZ, if your VFR makes no difference to you and you can go through, and if you haven't got a transponder, then it becomes an RMZ and you have to give them a call, or if you're IFR, you still need to give them a call. Anyway, so it's better, but come on, do better. Come on, try harder. And then while we're on the subject, right next door to Bryce, we've got the Kidlington proposal, and this is going through the Kidlington. At one point, Kidlington proposal was going to be some more Class E plus, which you can see on the left with a kind of trapezoid or whatever that shape's called, bit of Class D in the middle. And I think that's now the latest proposal that is just for a TMZ outlined in red on the right, although reading through the document, it says at the top, you can see, therefore, the airspace was further revised, blah, 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 shown in figure 23 below. And that's actually figure 24. So who knows what the reality of that is. Anyway, cut a long story short, it's all a bit of a bloody mess. Come on, CA, get it sorted out. Just say to them, please don't make it look like this. Please put the fuzzy felt away and get some other stuff, please. So anyway, that's kind of my rant over, really.
Yeah, I'm not sure there was actual planning with the fuzzy felt. I think someone was maybe carrying the box and tripped and fell.
I think you're right. I just apologise for the rant. I'm sorry, people who didn't necessarily tune in to see me ranting for 5 minutes about.
But the one thing you can guarantee is that when it comes to airspace, Ian will tell you how he thinks.
I mean, I'm kind of,
But
actually,
you're right.
The UK has this, doesn't have an overall good view of airspace, and it, come on, guys, bigger picture policy.
Yeah, I think the big thing there is to try and keep it simple, really, isn't it? That when you have all these little fillets of airspace lurking around at 2,500 feet,
It's crazy.
just waiting for people to infringe.
It's
No
almost
wonder
like it's been designed to make you infringe, which is not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just keep it simple, and even if it appears to be a little bit more draconian, in fact, you've got to ask for a clearance. At least you know where you stand. When you have all these stupid little bits all over the place, no one knows, or it's hard to keep track of exactly what you should be doing. There is a serious point to that airspace, and we perhaps should point it out that Bryce Norton has quite a few aircraft arriving and departing in instrument conditions, and on the east-west axis, it starts to run into Oxford's airspace, which also has instrument arrivals going in and out, but mostly on a north-south basis. So you can see that they've got a problem to try and resolve. But to have that whole grab of airspace over a huge chunk is ridiculous. I mean, it used to be.
Dave.
Because I used to fly from Enstone, I flew from Oxford for a while, and to Western, so I know that area quite well.
Yeah.
And it used to be called the area of intense aerial activity, and it was busy. I remember flying out from Enstone once on a check flight, and we were doing a PFL into the field somewhere, and one of these big RAF Hercules transporters flew underneath us. We were at about 500 feet, about to vault the PFL, and the Hercules flew underneath us. That's a slightly scary exercise, but by and large it worked, apart from the odd incident like that. Okay.
Yeah, I've got a feeling, unless something else comes along, I've got a feeling that my next column is going to be related to airspace design, and one day also linked to airspace, but not for tonight's live stream. I will probably have to have a rant about the whole CA process about what happens when you actually bust airspace. Not that I've actually experienced it firsthand, but I've spoken to a few people who have.
I'm beginning to wonder whether Class E+ was actually the grade that someone gave Bryce Norton for this airspace change proposal, and it all got confused. Like, you've been rated E+.
You've been rated E+.
Try and get to A.
Yeah. We've looked at your proposal. We think it should be Class FU.
Yeah, it's certainly it's two fingers up to a lot of the just general aviation flyers, isn't it? I think
it's probably time to move on and something slightly lighter.
Let's move on then. What have
Fantasy
we got?
hangar.
Fantasy hangar. Yeah, a couple of weeks ago we built our fantasy hangar. We decided it had lots of doors, it had heated flooring, it had like lots of nice luxury apartments and well, not lots of them, but one luxury apartment in the corner so you can live there, just like Ed lives with his RV8 there.
It's not true.
But now we need to populate it with some airplanes, and the most ideal airplane to start with, we think, at this time of year, is that little Bimbler, the aircraft you get in just to float around of a summer's night. So, Dave, tell us why you think this should be the ultimate Bimbler in our fantasy hangar.
Well, for those who don't recognise it instantly, it's a thruster TST, which is a microlight. Very simple. It's got a Rotax 503 two-stroke up front. As you can see, it's got a tubular frame, and it's got an open cockpit. And basically, it's just very simple and slow and lovely to fly. I say lovely to fly. It has got tremendous adverse yaw. So as soon as you put bit of bank in, you're basically facing the other direction. So it takes a bit of getting used to, but they fly nice enough. They fly very slowly, perfect for summer evening flying. And of course, landing, you're so close to the ground when you come into land. It's a bit like landing a glider. They're a piece of cake to land.
Are they four-span ailerons?
Yes.
Yes, no flaps. Yep. And you can land because they're so slow. You can take off and land from almost anywhere. It's quite a big wing area if you look at it. It takes basically a couple of paces and you're off.
Yeah.
And just before you were saying, did you spot one of the classifieds and it was obscenely cheap?
We're coming to the prices at the end.
Oh,
Don't rush to the price bit. We've got a jingle that we have to play.
oh,
Right. Yep.
We're professionals, So, Ed.
well, clearly the ultimate bimbling aeroplane is a J3 Cub. This is, if you look really carefully, this is a Legend Cub, but that's a modern J3. But really, something that you can fly is, low power, hand start, have the door open, and just fly around at kind of low RPM bimble. Dave, your fresh air thruster is a good one, but I can't help think that the Rotax is going to reduce your bimble enjoyment a little bit, maybe. But yeah, so for me, it's got to be a Cub.
Okay, I think I have to, much as I am not a massive fan of Cubs, I think there is something kind of quite special about seeing a yellow Cub, particularly just burbling along in the summer with the door open, and it's a great little. I'm not hugely keen about the hand starting thing, but I'm presumably. You can get
Cubs with starters if you really want.
Yeah, no, I think I really want. I in my past I had a share in an Oster which had to be hand swung. Yeah. So I think I've kind of paid my hand swinging tax and served that particular sentence, got out on parole, and now I'm kind of okay with the starter. So my choice, coming to my choice at the end here is this. Oh. There you go, 7AC Champ. That to me is your bimbling airplane. In these COVID times, this suits me because I would also call it a poor man's Cub. They are less expensive than Cubs, but they've got kind of a comedy handling, so very similar to Dave's thruster. Adverse yaw is just makes you laugh out loud every time, and clearly teaches you what your feet are, or just teaches you to laugh, really. And they're just lovely little airplanes, just simple. I think it's hand swung as well, which is a bit of a pain. So anyway, that would be my choice. I don't know because I can't see from here the comments. Have we got any comments for people's suggestion, or are people still talking about Airspace?
No, people are gradually getting over the Airspace thing. Trevor Pegram likes the Cub. He said he nearly bought one a few months ago. We need to know why you didn't buy it, Trevor, because you should have go back and correct that mistake.
I think it's because you can't fit a G3X, two-screen G3X in a Cub.
Well, clearly, he just needs to look at Mike Patey.
Unless you're Mike Patey. Cessna 16.
Oh, 165. That's the radial powered one, isn't it? Is that the Airmaster?
I think Keir means the 162, doesn't he?
Oh well, no. Clearly, the 162 is not a fine aeroplane, is it? Trevor Pegram says the purchasing problem was his wife.
I think that's okay, Trevor.
Yeah,
you should buy your sometimes for Christmas. I suggest.
Sometimes they overrule.
Yeah, it's a poor man's 195, says Keir.
Yeah.
Okay. No, Chris Cooper. No, don't divorce. No, buying airplanes should be an inclusive experience. Kev, it shouldn't lose.
Kev Arblaster suggesting a Bulldog. What's wrong with you, Kev? You can't bimble in a Bulldog.
That's just a bit frenetic.
Nice and slow, and not going upside down, and just looking.
Yeah, I've got to say, your Champ is a good suggestion because they are great value.
So let's talking about value. Let's run the little jingle. So how much are they, Dave? What can you get a thruster for?
Well, I after we were talking about this earlier today, I went looking, and I found one on that aircraft for sale site, and it was £2,900, complete with permit. £2,900, complete with permit, and apparently it had an overhaul a year ago. So that's it. I almost bought it on the spot, but my wife.
I don't. That's right. Was it that aircraft for sale site.co.uk or something?
That's the one, yes.
Of course.
To be honest, that particular site, you can wind me up here because that drives me mad. That site, I can never find quite what I want on that site. I go around in blinking circles the whole time. So,
but it lures you back every day.
Come on then, Ed. Ed, the man with the RV8 behind him. How many cubs would you get for an RV8?
You get a few. But the trouble with Cubs is Cubs at one time used to be affordable, and Cubs have gone a bit crazy now. So, so I think you're looking at easily 30k to get your Cub.
And I reckon if you try hard, you could get 2 Champs for 30k.
I think you're entirely right. So,
yeah.
I don't know. You've got to go. An aeroplane for under £3,000 is pretty amazing value. So I think
you could have a squadron of thrusters for the price of a Cub.
You could.
Yes.
Of course, the trouble is, having looked at a thruster online now, Dave, is you know how the internet follows you around with lots of adverts for other stuff. Is it's going to follow you around with adverts for lawn chairs and things like that.
Okay, let's move on. As is becoming traditional at this part of the live stream, I've got an apology to make. Yet another apology. For very, very briefly, for many, many years now, probably for about 4 or 5 years, I've been invited to pop over to the Carrickmore fly-in Ireland, and every single time I've been unable, for one reason or another, to do it. And the Carrickmore fly-in's coming up this weekend, and yet again I am unable to go. So, to kind of cover my embarrassment for not being able to go, I said that I give them a good promote here. So Carrickmore Flying looks an absolutely delightful little place. I think it's 425 or 475 meters. If you are thinking of going, and only if you are thinking of seriously going, give Ian Thompson a call on his mobile number here. He was okay with me giving the mobile number out, but clearly don't just phone him up and go, hey, how are you doing, Ian? It's nice to talk to you. But so if you're thinking of going, and Ian, if you're watching this at all, I promise that at some stage I really will come to the Carrickmore fly-in. So apologies for that. Dave, what else have we got coming in, or Ed, in terms of fly-ins?
Well,
quick last one. If you're going to go to the Carrickmore fly-in, then you're obviously going to need to file a flight plan. You're going to need a GAR, and Border Force are going to need 12 hours notice in and outbound as well. So don't forget to do that. And you're okay as far as COVID things concerned. There's no quarantine with Northern Ireland if you've been in the common travel area for the last 14 days.
There we go.
Right, events. So, so on events, because I look after this bit on the Flyer website, and events are being cancelled left, right, and centre for reasons of COVID, obviously, and not being able to bring things together. So, whatever we tell you, you have to check before going with the organiser, because it may have been cancelled in the last 15 seconds. Yeah. So, for instance, the Aero Jumble at Popham that was to have happened this weekend has been cancelled, despite being on about a week ago.
Yep.
I did speak to Dan at Sandown, and bravely they're going ahead with Spanfield. This is the annual microlight fly-in on the Isle of Wight at Sandown Airport, and they're going ahead. Apparently, quite a few people are going tomorrow, Friday, because the weather is fractionally better. But most people are obviously going to try and avoid Sunday when it looks completely pants. If you go, you might be stuck in the Isle of Wight for a few days, which could be worse. Could be worse. Yeah. What else? We've had a very confusing message from Scotland.
Well, I had an email from someone up at the Scottish Aero Club saying that the fly-in on the 22nd at Perth was on 12 noon till 4 o'clock. However, I know when you checked it on the Scottish Aero Club website, it says cancelled. But so if you want to go to Perth and you think there might be a fly-in on, check with them. But
it's kind of like Schrodinger's fly-in.
Yes. Something like that.
Something like that.
It's cancelled, says Chris Cooper.
Right.
Okay. Thanks, Chris. Chris would know.
Which one is cancelled? Are you talking about the Scottish Aero Club one?
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
Don't go to Scotland.
Go to Scotland, but not to that. Not to that. Scotland's just a stunning place, isn't it?
It is.
We're kind of almost.
Look at that! It's
here.
just clicked over 30 minutes. We've
Yeah,
aced it.
Before we go, we got one little picture that we wanted to run, which Dave picked out, didn't we?
Yeah.
So apparently yesterday was. You ready?
I am ready.
Apparently yesterday was Stick Your Head Out of a Luscombe Day. This is Mark Chambers, who's a Luscombe owner. He posted this on the European Luscombe's website. It's actually a video. It's quite an amusing video, and this is a still taken from it. Sorry, Mark, if you weren't expecting this, but it was so good, I thought we had to share it. It's what to do when you haven't got air conditioning in your Luscombe.
Well, it's clearly working for him. He's lucky he's still got his glasses on.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, he's lucky he's still got his glasses on. The late and much missed Austin J. Brown, who used to take photos for Flyer many years ago, was once doing a photo shoot out of the back of a Seneca with the back door off. And I won't do the Aussie accent because I'll just upset everyone in Newcastle or Sunderland. But he basically put his head out to take a picture, and his Dave Clark's just went and disappeared somewhere, never to be seen again. So be careful sticking your head out of windows.
Yeah, Ian. Just to mention on the whole Perth flying thing, Ian, of course, said he emailed me earlier. Thanks, Ian. But points out that you can still use your Flyer free landing fee.
Absolutely.
So no flying, but head on up there. Yes, if you're a member of the Flyer Club. Good point.
You need to be a
Thanks
member
for
of
free
the Flyer
landing, Ian.
So, sorry, Dave.
Talking about Flyer Club, do we want to mention the 15% discount?
Yes, there's 15% discount on cheese in the Flyer if you're a member of the Flyer Club.
What he means to say is 50% off the Ultimate High Top Gun experience that you remember, the one with the really cheesy video. But anyway, there is a proper code for that. So that's just one of the great discounts if you're a Flyer Club member.
Absolutely. 15%, 20% off the film, 50% off cheese, all sorts of other, lots and lots of discounts. So join the Flyer Club. Come on, people. In fact, probably most of you are, I'd imagine, anyway. And you can use your free landing fees. You can't use your free landing fees if you're... How exactly do the free landing fees work? Okay, James, let me just quickly answer that question. The free landing fees work by you join the Flyer Club, you log into the Flyer site, and then you navigate some complicated menus that we put in place to trip you up, but that we're working on to make them even better. And then you get to a page for the free landing fees, and it's got your name on. So it'll say free landing fee in Perth for James the pilot, or whatever your full name is. And then you can you print that off and pop up there, hand it over, and they let you in. So there you go. Couldn't be easier. And Paul, no, you can't get 15% off real cheese. But if you ever want to fly down to the strip down the road, I'll make you a cheese sandwich. Can't do more than that, can you? Yes, actually, clear of cloud. Very good. Our site was designed spare time by the Airspace designers.
Yeah, but hopefully we can fix that.
Yes, we are fixing that. It does work. You just need to relax, read the instructions, and go for it. So anyway, I think we've run 2.5 minutes over. So it's time for us to. It's time for me to go and take my medicine. And to say goodbye, I think.
Sit in a dark room.
Yes, sit in a dark room. I'll tell you what, I'm sitting in a bloody dark hot room at the moment. I don't know about you. The Flyer flying caps. The Flyer flying caps are interesting. We're struggling a bit. If anyone knows where we can find some of these, I'm looking for Flyer baseball caps that don't have that top button thing that digs into you with a headset that we can get branded. I thought I'd found one today on the internet. Filled it all in, designed it all, and it came back with a quote, £55.99 per cap. I thought, no, we're not going to have those ones. And the masks, the Flyer mask samples have not arrived. Otherwise, in fact, hopefully they'll arrive next week, and we'll begin the program with all of us wearing Flyer masks.
Yay!
Yeah.
Good stuff. Right, let the good people of England get on with their lives.
Yes. Thank you very much, good people of the world, of the internet. We'll see you all soon. We'll see you next week, 7:30. Thank you.
Okay.
Fly safe, everyone.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.